So good morning, Coach Anna here, and I really wanted to discuss something that I think is really important, and it's a question I have, for people to ponder and think about. Is it a relapse or is it something else? And first I want to talk about relapse real quick. There's a reason we have that term in recovery, and that is because relapse is part of recovery. And I want to say that right off the bat, there is no shame in relapse, and we should be able to talk about relapse shamelessly, absolutely 100%. And especially in the world of sugar and food addiction, because we are exposed to this stuff 24/7, and it is the hardest drug to quit, right? And we know that relapses can be studied, so they can be great teachers. They can be predicted because we studied them, and we can say, well, this is what came first, right? Because we know relapse is a period at the end of a very long paragraph, right? And they can be prevented. But what I see in really early recovery is people using that name or that label, relapse, I relapsed, and they have all this shame that goes with it, and they just and crunch down, right? And it's like, no, don't crunch down. Lift your shoulders high, hold your head high, and hold your head back, because what you're doing is you're learning how to abstain in early recovery. And so that means, maybe you abstain for one day, and then halfway into day two, you're like, I can't do this, and boom, you eat, right? You didn't relapse. You're in continuous use. You just haven't figured out how to stay stopped yet, right? You haven't figured out how to stop for a period of time. Well, then maybe next time, you're like, okay, I'm going to start again. And you make it 4 days. Man, you better pat yourself on the back. And I'm going to tell you what, you guys that are getting out of the food and you are learning how to be abstinent, you are not relapsers, you are heroes. You're falling down off of your bike and you're getting back up no matter what. That's a miracle. That is absolutely amazing. Keep going. Once you've put together 6 months of abstinence, and then if you slip, if you want to call it a relapse, go ahead. But until then, give yourself some grace, please. And even those of you that have been around for multiple decades, I don't care. Things happen. Bitten Johnson, who's a good friend and mentor, she relapsed because of her menopause. She says she just basically, if it was made of chocolate, she just chowed down on it, right? Because of hormonal changes. She doesn't have guilt or shame about that. She picked herself up, she dusted herself off, and look at her now. You guys, we need to stop being shameful about talking about these things, and we need to be careful about how we're labeling it. And if you're helping someone out there, help them to understand the difference between early continuous use, where we're learning abstinence, and help them understand they're not relapsing, they're just learning. They're in a learning phase. I didn't learn how to ride a bike overnight, and most people don't. There's those rare people. Give yourself a break, guys. Enjoy the journey. Pat yourself on the back. A day one is a day one, WON, right? Any day that an addict doesn't pick up and put something in their body to change the way they feel, that's something to be celebrated. It's something to be grateful for, because addicts don't do that left to their own devices. We always try to find something outside of ourselves to fix what's wrong inside of ourselves. And if you have not done that just for today, you're a flippin' hero.